A second person has died from lung illness after vaping. This time, it's in Oregon. And investigators are saying the person who died in July was otherwise very healthy.
This is Pennsylvania teenagers, Pennsylvania teenager is now in a medically induced coma, and his doctor suspect it could be connected to vaping. Our next guest is sounding the alarm on the growing crisis after saving an 18-year-old who was put in a medically induced coma just last month.
Joining us now is Chief of Pediatric Pulmonology at NYU Winthrop Hospital. Her name is Dr. Melody Pirzada. Dr. Pirzada, thanks for being with us. We were just asking you a lot of questions because everyone in America wants to know, okay, you gave up cigarettes and now you're using e-cigs, or you're using this vaping THC. What are the problems and what's the difference in all of these?
Okay, so e-cigarettes were first came in the market 2007, and it was designed to be able to make the smokers get rid of the nicotine addiction. What happened is it has come a long way, and now companies are making it so desirable for the young teenagers and even middle schoolers and high schoolers that people are going and getting these e-cigarettes and using them and getting addicted to nicotine. These are kids who never used traditional smoking, and yet they see it is cool and it is odorless. So they go and they purchase, and they use it even in the classrooms. We hear that in the bathrooms, in the schools. It is becoming a real problem.
It's unbelievable because in America, we were getting on top of the cigarette problem.
I know.
Sales were down, and in comes the Juul and other products like this, and now these kids are getting addicted, and it doesn't smell, so they're able to get away with it. It's impossible for schools to get on top of this. But you just told us, doctor, that the main problem you have that's acute is when they put cannabis products in it.
Exactly. I had two patients in mid-July, and one of them was an 18-year-old male. He came in with acute onset of chest pain, fever, vomiting, coughing. And in the emergency room, the X-ray showed there was both lungs pneumonia. Okay, it is fine. We admit the patient to pediatric floor, start on antibiotics. But within 48 hours, he was fighting for his life. He was transferred to our ICU. And connected to life support. We had to, of course, medically induce coma so that he wouldn't move, to take the breathing tube out. And 1 week he was stayed on this. And we did so much testing, looking into any kind of infectious cause, rheumatologic, and et cetera. And at the end, we found that the mom went to the room of the patient because we were all desperate what was going on, and we found that he had a fake cartridge of THC oil. And we sent it to DOH, and they found that it was filled with THC and vitamin E.
Wow.
And when you buy those oils, you don't know what's in them, do you?
No, you don't. And especially if you buy them from out of the street.
It's like a street drug.
Yes. Yes.
So as you make it harder for teens to get, they're going to get it illegally, which means it's even additionally unregulated, let alone the danger of using it. Yes. Now you're having a danger of somebody else concocting it.
Exactly.
So I was reading that the majority of these patients are teenagers or young adults in their 20s or their 30s. There's this 19-year-old in Delaware at the hospital, and he told the doctors he does use e-cigarettes. He had a coughing fit, and now he's going to need a double lung transplant if it gets worse. He's only 19 years old.
Well, our 18-year-old patient almost died. So we were very lucky because
the one with
when
the mom
you develop
that got the THC?
Right, because when you develop ARDS, which is acute respiratory distress syndrome, the mortality can be as high as 70%.
Doctor, in Michigan, they banned flavored e-cigarettes. Are you for that?
Totally, because the flavors, they are chemicals. And one of them is very well known, D-acetyl, and this is known as to cause popcorn lungs. The workers in the popcorn making factories, they were exposed to this, and they developed a condition called bronchiolitis obliterans, which is very, very dangerous.
So we should follow Michigan on this. It's a huge problem. Don't let anyone tell you it's not, and we should stop it in its tracks. Dr. Melody Pirzada, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.